And here we go.
In 5, 4, 3.
Call to me, lands far away.
Elves have forests to protect.
We need to build a wall.
Dwarfs their mines. Men their fields of grain. But we Harfoots have each other.
For I must now wander this wandering day.
We're safe.
You have fought long enough, Galadriel.
No.
Put up your sword.
The enemy is still out there. The question now is where?
It is over.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Darkness will march over the face of the earth. It will be the end, not just of our people, but all peoples.
Everyone! I am sorry, but their time has come.
The past is with us all. The past is dead.
We either move forward or we die with it.
This could be the beginning of a new era.
Away I must wander this wandering day.
To him finally being lionized in the prime and his prime. Fuck.
Do it!
Shit.
Just do it! Don't let your dreams change. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Luke went from being... Oh, no. Welcome, Slayer Nation. I have some great news for you today. I hope you're all doing great. Nope, that didn't work. One more.
You have failed me for the last time.
Welcome, Slayer Nation. I hope...
If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.
That is eating away at what you love in order for it to shine. And one man's vision is... Sometimes you don't have to make things better for them to be great again. You merely have to Okay. Hollywood continues to slow boil the culture and crazy. Well, right now, Spider-Man actor Andrew Garfield has stepped up and he's fighting motherfucker.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
And unbearded dwarves, but Prime didn't stop there. They stapled in intersectionality, individuality, bitty-ga-dig-bee, bitty-ga-dig-bo.
So it begins.
At my signal, unleash hell.
ladies and gentlemen, George the Giant Slayer.
What's going on, everybody? I'm back. Been on a little hiatus for a month. That family work, you know how it's going. Well, welcome to Slayer Unchained. I'm your host, George Molo. It's May 14th, 2025, in the year of our Lord, and let's see who's in. I guess you take a few weeks off, and wow, we're going to have to build this back up. We got Brian Barth. Great to see you. Lizzie B, Man of War. 665, neighbor of the beast. Always great to see you, my friends. J.S. Pena, Toxic Waltz is in the house. Brian, all of you, Josh Hammond, Owls, Steel Leg of History. I have a great show for you today. It's fun to be back. I missed you all. But you know, I got to tell you, 3 days ago here in Texas, where I'm living, we had hail hit us for a few hours. It was about Sunday night, a little bit Monday. And for Monday and Tuesday, it was cool. It was nice. I'm like, wow, this is what I remember from my childhood, not where you feel like you're fucking melting on the sun. And I thought maybe the conspiracy theories were true, you know, that the government controls the weather, you know, Biden's out, Trump's in, so they flip the machine off. But nope. We're back to standing on the surface of the sun. So do not be surprised if in the next weeks, you see me one day unshaved, because I'm tired of this in the heat. Hey, lovely Sherry. Great to see you. Adley, hola from Bogota. Hola, my friend Sheila and Nick the Greek. Yasu. So let's just get him out here. We got my good friend Verbal Riot and Tom Connors joining us today. How are y'all doing, gentlemen?
Busy day, man. A lot of shit came out today.
I know. I mean, it's like Hollywood decided to just blast us, but
well, the summer season is upon us. That's what happens.
Yes. When does it start officially for Hollywood?
Technically, it already has, but you have like Final Destination coming out this weekend, Lilo and Stitch and stuff coming out the weekend after that with Mission Impossible, and then then it's the trains are rolling. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Well, cool. Well,
yeah, the thing is, it's just been very slow. It's been a very slow, like, summer rollout. What I find crazy though is, why would Marvel decide to drop Ironheart the same day as Superman? Like,
they wanted to bury this thing, Verbal. That's why.
Like, I get it, right? Like, you know, you can't have your rival company upshow you, but Ironheart is what you're bringing to the table here.
Oh no, they were purely just burying it, so that like nobody's paying attention to Ironheart. Good.
What about that they released this the other day? The Avengers official new logo. I think that pretty much says it all.
Yeah. You know, I've heard different things. I heard it's supposed to be the Infinity Gems and all that.
You know better than that.
I call BS, especially with June approaching in like 2 or 3 weeks.
I mean, it's like every time they turn around and like, well, no, we hear everybody. We're getting back to entertainment. And you see this little thing pop up, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Super fucking gay.
Pretty much. It's just nuts. But I wanted to cover this real quick. Just some good news or bad news, depending on which side that you're on. Did you know that Snow White got re-released last weekend in the theaters?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And that Park Place had it broken down. Initially intended as a crowd puller for Mother's Day weekend, Snow White was dropped into over 1,300 theaters across the United States. The result, a pathetic haul of over $200K, averaging just $50 per theater. That's not a typo. $50 per theater. Well, you know what that means. Rachel Ziegler now officially brings in the same amount as a crack-riddled hoe on Hollywood Boulevard.
No. Crack whore's bringing in a hell of a lot more than that.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. You think crack is only $50? Man, crack ain't cheap.
Crack ain't cheap.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. No. And honestly, this is hilarious because we have a little drive-in out here, and they started the weekend showing the double billing, and they show them because they do 2 movies at the same time. Thunderbolts with Snow White leading it off. By the end of the weekend, they had switched Snow White for Mufasa. I'm not even joking. I wish I'd taken pictures because it was I was laughing so hard. I'm like, oh man, that's bad. When Disney even says, yes, that's okay. You can switch it out for Mufasa.
Wow. So before we get into Andor, because Andor season finale was last night, let's take a quick look at what dropped today. The Superman trailer. Now, I originally was gonna play because we also had yesterday that Amazon Spider-Nar with Nicolas Cage, but then I read an article, I think it was at that Park Place, that everybody who plays it at Amazon is hitting with copyright strike. So I'm not going to show that to you today.
Yeah, I was going to shoot a video, and then I was like, why bother, man? Like, Warner Brothers strikes everything I do, so screw it.
They do the same for me, which, you know, really doesn't make sense. They should want, every studio should want you to pump their trailers, pump their shows.
The trailers are a problem, for one, and I've talked to somebody specifically at Warner Brothers about this, and they told me the big problem with it is they're all digitally watermarked, or they all get hit by the bots because you have dozens, if not more than dozens, probably more than that, of channels where all they do is just re-upload trailers.
Mm-hmm.
So
they don't like that?
They don't like that because they want their official one to be the only one up there, because in that way they can also keep track of things too.
I really thought that they'd want everyone. I mean, I kind of get it, but I thought
if it wasn't for those channels, I don't think they'd nail everybody. That's my point, right?
The question is, why doesn't Disney do it then? Like, I don't understand.
They've always been real cool with it. I don't know why. Warner Brothers, usually if you fight them, sometimes they'll let it go. Sometimes they won't. I think it just depends on who you get on the other end.
Well, yeah,
Universal's also wishy-washy with that.
I won my case against the Peacemaker video I did. I won my case with YouTube on that one. So they had me in escrow, and then they said, no, you're getting struck. And then I'm like, dude. So I resubmitted again, and they said, okay, fine, you can use it, and we'll still monetize you. But to go through that for every video, like, I don't think it's worth it for me to even do that.
No, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that originally, though, was it? When YouTube first started, you could play whatever you want, couldn't you?
Not necessarily.
So, not completely, but it was more loose. It was a lot more loose, for sure.
On the other side of it, what would happen is, like, okay, say, like, I did a Wonder Woman Blu-ray or trailer reaction or whatever it was years and years and years and years and years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't nail it till like 2 years after the thing. I'm like, what the hell is this about? Like 2 years? Why did you wait till now to copyright claim it or whatever it was? It was really weird. But yeah, so sometimes you'll get that stuff too, but yeah.
Weird. Well, here is Superman that dropped today, and we can talk about what y'all think about it right after, I guess, as we're showing it so we don't get hit.
Yeah, I wouldn't show it all at one chunk.
How many people are actually going to get that Cronkite reference?
Yeah, I think he should have went with Don't Make Me Cry Now, Barbara Walters, or something like that, to make it a little more modern-ish.
Yeah, that was a little odd.
Or even Joe Rogan, just a
well, yeah, Joe Rogan might be a little too modern, but yeah.
The Secretary of Defense.
Now, see, I got to tell you, I haven't liked that since the first teasers. I don't like this whole hitting Superman.
Did you notice they changed it since the first trailer, though? He doesn't flinch now.
Okay, but why do they? I don't like that.
Okay, well,
Superman's an uplifting figure. Everybody should love him.
Well, what I'm getting from this is what I was told from my inside guy was basically the gist of the movie is something happens in the beginning. Superman gets in trouble. We clearly know what that is. It's something that he goes into another country and does something here, is what we find out in the trailer. And so the whole movie is basically about the idea of that the world realizes they need Superman, right? So I see that in here now, what it's all about. And as we know with James Gunn, it's usually, he only shows like in his trailers, he only shows stuff from like the first half of the movie usually. So I think that's going to be the whole setup going into this, is that something happens in the first act of the film that sets in motion this idea that Superman might be too dangerous to be, just out there saving people willy-nilly without checks and balances kind of thing. I think is going to be the gist of the film. But then at the end, they realize, no, you need to be able to let Superman just save people. Right? Because that's his job.
Right. So are they doing the same thing, Tom, that pretty much that the Avengers did when they had you got to sign the Sokovia Accords, and they can't?
It might be along those lines. I think one of the big inspirations for this is what's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way comic.
Mm-hmm.
So that I think that was a big part of it too, is from my memory, was that it was just asking about what Superman should be allowed to do and what he shouldn't be allowed to do, kind of a thing.
And who could really stop him anyway? I mean, that's the kind of funny thing.
And that's where Lex Luthor always wins with an argument, right? So anyway, go ahead for Verbal. Sorry.
No, I was going to say the other thing too that I heard about this film is that it's supposed to show a contrast between Superman's morality versus like what the quote unquote like corporate heroes, which is basically the Justice League in this universe, they're a little bit more extreme.
Are they like the boys, or is it just me getting that feeling coming off of what I saw from Peacemaker?
Kind of, but they're kind of, but they're good. They're not like assholes like Homelander and his crew, the Seven, right? But this Justice League is supposed to be a little bit more dark, a little bit more extreme, I guess, than other versions. And Superman's morality doesn't really mesh with their morality, so like we're getting a lot of that too.
Okay. Round like that?
Ultraman. He's actually he's kind of a threat. He's a big deal in the comic.
Okay. I just don't know. I don't remember Ultraman.
Ultraman is basically Superman from a different, but they're probably not going to go with that storyline that he's Superman from a different universe. They're probably going to make him his own thing, but he's very strong. So
yeah, Sandra, you and I know about Cronkite and so many other people. I'm just wondering how many from this generation today know Cronkite, like, you know, the 15 to 30-year-olds. I'm just curious. I just doubt many people today in that age range know who he is. But
no, that was an old pool. That Cronkite line.
Yeah, I will tell you that I do like whose name I always forget. The guy who plays Corn Sweat. I like Corn Sweat as Superman so far. I mean, I've liked him since the first trailer.
Did you consult with the president?
A little bit too early to have him already yelling. Doesn't it remind you a touch of BVS?
I think he's more upset because this has been one of the more hotly debated things. I think what this scene is depicting, because we're not getting all the context and we're not seeing the whole scene. Right. And Nina Infinity pointed out that she thinks this is part of the same scene we see in the other trailer where they're getting it on. So after all of this stuff, they probably do make up and fuck. But I think there's a little bit going on here where he's upset more so that I think, and this is just my opinion, I think he's more upset because he thought that Lois was going to do this little puff piece about Superman.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that they're having this back and forth because it's more of a, you know, when couples have a disagreement about political things, what has been going on in the, you know, a lot lately. And I think that's kind of what it is. And, or what Lois is doing is setting him up so that he actually talks about his feelings and there is no real interview. It was just a setup from the start just to get him to talk to her, if that makes sense. Either way, that would definitely lead them into obviously making up afterwards. That makes more sense. I think he's more pissed off that he like he said, I wasn't representing America. Basically, I was representing myself. And I was just doing it to save people. And he's getting the pushback from Lois that he's getting from everybody else out there and probably like the Green Lanterns and all that kind of shit, right? So I think he's just upset with her for doing this to him. I think once we see the context of the scene, like I said, we'll find out that either she's just trying to get him to talk and or they don't see eye to eye on this thing that he did, right? Well, so, yeah.
Well, what you're saying, it does, again, it makes a lot of sense. But I will say, and I'm just going to plant my flag in the sand.
Right.
I miss Margot Kidder's version of Lois Lane. Someone who loved, not forget before she loved him, someone who looked at him, admired him. She made a few questions, but it's like she understood immediately when she spoke to him. What was in those first 15 minutes on their rooftop?
Yeah, but see, I don't think that she doesn't respect him or look up to him. I think she's playing devil's advocate because people are saying these things about him. And he needs to hear what people are saying about him. I think what's happening in the scene is that he knows what people are saying and thinking, and he's just tired of it. He's like, look, man, I'm helping you guys. I'm not, you know.
Is this
and now he's got Lois, of all people who should be supporting him, now is coming at him with the same bullshit. And you're right. Like a year ago, they were probably the same Lois and Clark we'd see in the first Superman movie, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is these two have been together for a while.
Oh,
so that's where I'm thinking, like, me and Verbal are kind of on the same page here, where I think she's either confronting him with this or she's trying to get him to talk about his feelings about this, one or the other. I think it's one of those kind of things where she's not doing it to be a bitch. She's doing it because he's turned himself off from whatever it was, or he's in denial from whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, once we get the context,
Does this make sense to you then? Does it feel like one of those leaks that came out a couple of weeks ago about how Luthor has, I don't know, some alternate universe with monkeys on social media trashing Superman like Superman is shit.
I don't know about some alternate universe. I mean, I believe that he might have some mutant monkeys doing that stuff because they do address that clearly the world's turning against him. So, and I could see Luthor doing everything he can.
And we have to understand too, like this is a world where there is literally a gorilla who has telepathic abilities.
Oh, yeah, from DC. Yeah, you're talking about
English, and who's. So I mean, Luthor having monkeys that could do social media isn't really that.
But it didn't bug you. You don't feel like that's James Gunn kind of like telling basically how he hates social media, telling everybody to.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure there's a dig somewhere at us.
That's the problem. It's either a dig at the Snyder Bros or us. Yeah, one of the two.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't like that when I heard it. Didn't know if it was true, but it seems to be.
Well, the guy I talked to said that people are making too much out of it. It has more to do with the Snyder Bros stuff. And I said, well, that doesn't make it much better because it's still personal bullshit he's putting into the movie. But
yeah, of course. Who the hell is that? I've never seen that in any of my Superman comics.
That is a new character. I haven't seen him either.
Okay, I'm like, well, what the hell was that? I mean,
yeah, unless somebody knows who she is, I've never seen her before either.
Anybody in the chat know?
Oh, wait. No, my bad. I do know who that is. That is
they're saying the Engineer.
It's a character called the Engineer. She's part of the Authority. But the problem is she looks really different in this movie than she does in the comics, so that's why it kind of threw me off. But
okay.
Because I thought at first it was the three from Superman 2, the black, the one in Man of Steel.
Well, at first I thought it was Mercy, which is like Luthor's bodyguard, personal assistant. But she could do that. She has fake hands that turn into different weapons and things like that. So at first I thought it was her, but then I realized it was the Engineer. I've
never read The Authority.
Great book.
No, hopefully they avoid Zod and all that stuff for a little bit because it's been overplayed.
I don't think we're getting Zod in James Gunn's DCU, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The eyed guy. The actor, his father. I don't know ever remember.
He was in Constantine and he was in Watchmen.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
He's been in a lot of movies. He's a good character actor, but he usually plays. This is kind of against type for him.
He's psycho, isn't he? Usually like the
usually plays like creepy pedophiles or psychos and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, he does. He's always
other than I think the one time when he played the priest in Constantine, I think he was a priest in that. But yeah,
Pruitt Taylor Vince. God, I love my chat. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I thought he was always been an amazing actor, and this was against type, like Tom said. His mom, is it? Come on.
Yeah. It's
really. Mom. It's just so different from everybody we've seen over the years. Wow.
And I really hope that she made his costume. That would explain why it looks like it does too.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind it. I don't mind the mom.
It's looking a little better, but
because it feels like I feel like, when you live in like the Midwest, grow up in the Midwest, like you can't look as polished as Diane Lane, and Kevin Costner. I don't know. Like I feel like these people look a lot more Midwestern.
No, it looks more like Christopher Reeve's original Superman, the mom and dad.
Yeah, it feels more like, okay, I believe these people have a farm. You know what I mean?
Except though, if she made his super outfit, because I always thought it was supposed to be, by what I remember in the comics and in the movies, it was all supposed to be like part of his what came with him as a baby. Otherwise, it would get torched or torn every single time he did something.
Well, no, I don't think his mom made this costume, but I know in the comics, she does make his original costume.
Okay.
At first, but yeah, I don't know if they're going to do that for this.
That's a good question.
So. I think that it looks like, because like when she said, I went and cleaned your boots. I think that's also signifying she may have made his costume. And it looks like it was made out of like tractor tires and shit like that.
Actually, yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, I don't like the Superman suit in this. I don't like the pads, the knee pads, the shoulder pads.
I've heard that we're going to get at least one or two other super suits in the movie that we haven't seen yet.
Thank God.
And one I think has been confirmed.
Okay.
And it's the white suit because it's the Arctic suit or whatever it is for one of the toys that was released. And then somebody else had told me that, yes, there will be a different suit at the end too, maybe, but I don't know how reliable that is. So
is it a black suit?
No, I don't think it's that, but there's been people who've been debating for a while now because it seems like there's two different versions of the S.
Okay.
There's one that has a yellow border and one that doesn't have a yellow border. And if you've seen the trailers and the pictures, there's the one shot they do show of the one S that doesn't have the border. So it makes me feel like or vice versa, to where I feel like there's got to be another suit somewhere in there, maybe. But yeah, I don't know.
Cool. I would like to get a Christopher Reeve Superman suit, just a straight up.
It would be nice if they do have like a straighter kind of basic suit. Yeah.
But let me ask y'all, did Pedro Pascal jump universes? Is that him in the painting in the back picture?
That's actually Clark. I can tell from here, but yeah.
I know, but they
cast him as Clark Kent in all photos because they just had to have Pedro Pascal in the movie somewhere.
But it looks like Pedro a little bit. Come on, that just looks like Pedro. Fucking Pedro. That symbol reminds me of All-Star Superman, the comics. You read that one, Dante?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Doesn't it remind you of
they're
that?
supposed to be pulling a little bit from there too, from what I remember.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, they're pulling from a lot of different Superman stories. So.
So what do y'all think? We've seen it. I'm still not thrilled with Guy Gardner. Don't like his look. Looks like a dick, just like he did in the comics. I wish they had gone with what was it, the 5th version of him, which didn't look like a dick.
I think they're playing the dick version though. Here's the point, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think, Dante? Yay, nay, game changer, or
you know, honestly, I wasn't like super moved by it. No pun intended. But it was honestly, it was better than I thought it would be. And look, it's weird for me because I'm going to watch it either way.
You are, but what do you feel? Like me, I didn't get goosebumps. Did you get goosebumps from it?
As far as the feelings go,
yeah,
I didn't get goosebumps, but I feel better about it than I did previously.
I like the last trailer much better.
I wasn't like super like, you know, oh yeah, now I'm in. Now I'm in. I wasn't feeling like that. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same place. I feel like they're getting, I mean, I can see where you could go either way with this. Like, is it a little better or worse than the last trailer? That's, I guess, subjective. But I'm still not sold on this campaign that Gunn has done. And I don't know if this is put together yet by the Barbie people or not. Because they're supposed to be having the Barbie people come in and work on a campaign for this movie, which it needs one. They need to sell this movie on Superman and not the dog, not James Gunn,
not Clark Kent.
Yeah, because it's been too much. It's like even Gary at Nerdrotic's been making the joke about, you know, Superman's James Gunn, right? Because it's all James Gunn. Even the teaser trailer for the teaser trailer yesterday was James Gunn right off the bat, right? And look, I got no issues with him, but we got to get past this casting the director thing in Hollywood right now. I mean, I get it. James Gunn's a big name, but he ain't no Martin Scorsese. And guess what? The normies don't know who the fuck he is and don't care.
Yeah, but Tom, this is bigger than just, you know, casting the director, man. He's running the whole show.
He is, but he needs to let Superman shine.
He's the guy who's hiring the directors.
He should. Tom's right. He should let Superman.
Okay, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, because the problem you have here with the general public is everybody's asking, and I'm not even talking about the Snyder Bros, just the regular people. They're asking, why not Henry Cavill? So that's why I'm saying they should get this kid out there more. David Cornsweet should be on every single talk show between now and July 4th.
100%. My mother asked me, who again, I always like try to base it off different age ranges in my family, like what they know pop culture, because I can tell what has seeped through to normies. My mom, my girl, is a normie, except for my girl. I talk to her about everything, so I can't really always ask her all these questions. So I was asking my mom, I said, well, what do you think of this new superintendent? She's like, where's Henry Cavill? That's the one guy I like. I mean, you're talking about a 70-year-old woman. She was looking for it. Now, this is what I want to do. I want to play the Man of Steel trailer, the original one, and see how it feels for everybody. Different.
I don't know if I can judge it the same way since I've seen the movie now, but yeah.
Because this one, it moves.
Problem with that in the trailer from the very, 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 very start. Like,
okay.
The whole him being a kid and having the cape on, I'm like, who is he emulating? Like, what?
Yeah, good point. Because
I always wondered why, like, he thought that was some clever bit in his trailer. And I'm like, but who is he emulating? It'd be different if it was another little kid being Superman, right? But he's Superman. So where is he getting it from?
Yeah, that's a good point, because we would put it on as kids because we had Superman. Who the hell did he have? Yeah, that's a great point. That is a great point. But when you just look at both, I mean, which one gives you kind of like, again, I'll go with the goosebumps, the one that gets you like your heartbeat.
Son was in the bus.
He saw.
Yeah, I agree, Toxic, with it's not colorful enough, but I'm talking about the overall theme. This to me is about Superman. Like I feel it's Superman.
I was all in going into this movie for Man of Steel. I thought I was going to love it. I thought it was going to be the greatest Superman movie ever fucking made from the trailers.
Yeah, me too. But the other one that we just saw, Guns, so far, it feels like a Clark Kent story and a political story. That's just what I'm getting from it. I still like Man of Steel, but
I know some people like it, but it is just not. It has so many. It's not a Superman movie by far.
I didn't like the
so
ending.
many issues with it.
Didn't like the whole fight in Metropolis. He wouldn't have done that.
The way his dad died is a problem. The whole you should have let them die is a problem. Him running around just doing his fucking Hulk sulking down the street fucking problem. Him destroying the semi truck really pissed me off. I'm like, he would not do that. That's worse than him kicking the shit out of the guy in part 2.
Yeah, that's kind of like Dark Superman.
And there's just you're right. Like the last half of the movie, he would have never let all those people die. Right? Like I just don't get that.
No way. He would have done everything to protect them. That's why I said the trailer. I wanted to see the movie. The trailer showed it. I agree, but that's why I guess we don't need to see it anymore. I really just wanted to compare the different feeling from both films. Now I'm gonna go see it like the rest of us. I'm gonna go see it on July 11th, but I don't know. I really enjoyed the last trailer where they showed him. I didn't like seeing him get beaten up, but I liked the whole going into the Fortress of Solitude and more crypto. Did you feel like it's a Clark story here? This one was more Clark centered.
No, I mean it was a lot of Superman stuff, but
I'm talking about the theme. I'm not talking about what you saw more of. I'm talking about the theme.
I mean, I think it's just because that scene with Lois dominates the trailer that maybe that's the impression you get.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the whole catalyst for that argument that they're in has to do with something that Superman does, right?
Right.
And they show quite a bit of Superman in the trailer. We definitely get to see that he battles a thing or two.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. Let's see, we've seen him flying in several different bits and pieces here and there. So he's probably in it quite a bit. I just imagine that it just feels that way because the trailer we got here is so centric around that and edited around that argument that maybe that's the way it feels. I don't know.
Who knows? Well, now we have, let's take a look at, so on a scale from 1 to 10, has this made y'all more positive or not, Tom? Or
like Verbal said before, it hasn't really moved the gauge for me much, but I wasn't as negative on it or worried about it as some people were to begin with. But that last trailer didn't really sell it to me that great. It did okay, but this trailer, it did better, but I'm still not convinced that this is the trailer they should have released necessarily. This feels more like a second or third trailer you put out, maybe.
Gotcha. So, okay. Well, good. And you still hopeful, Verbal?
Yeah, I mean, look, I said it. Look, it's been hard, but I keep saying that I do trust James Gunn. I think that I'm skeptical, sure, but I at least have more faith in him than I have in most directors. So, no, this trailer didn't do much for me, but I feel more hopeful than I did, say, like a week ago.
Okay. I'm going to ask the chat in the poll. Let's, and then we had the Ironheart come out.
Now, that trailer did not disappoint.
Talk about the antithesis of.
Oh, yeah.
Hello?
Just in case you didn't know, Ryan Coogler had something to do with this. They let you know quite often.
Welcome.
Especially after Sinners.
In less than 3 minutes, the air in this elevator will no longer be breathable.
Oh, what is this?
Your interview. You'll suffocate and die unless you break into the device on the floor, where you will find a gas mask. Good luck.
Screw this.
I can tell you that I feel bad that Ryan Coogler's name is attached to this after watching Sinners.
You know what, though? It's probably one of those things where he he committed to it a long time ago, man.
Well, he's attached just because he was the executive producer on Wakanda Forever, or he was the director and all that on Wakanda Forever, and this character originated there. That's probably really his only attachment. I highly doubt he even had any story influence or anything else.
No,
but they sure are using him to sell it. Yeah.
Yeah, this looks. I don't know why they just didn't scrap this crap. Just
they couldn't do it.
There's something in it that they can't.
They can't just shelve it.
No,
there's something story wise, and or because just the optics of it, the two or three things about that.
That's the bigger part of it, Tom. Is the optics. They can't do it, man. It's a black female lesbian who. Well,
I didn't know she was lesbian.
Well, I'm assuming she's lesbian. I really don't know.
You're just Hollywood.
I actually think she's straight because I think she's getting with Solo Boy there.
Oh well, whatever. Either way, it's a black female who's like, supposed to be the smartest person in the world.
And in case you didn't know that, they remind you in every scene.
Yeah.
Smarter than Stark.
Oh yeah, and Banner. Smarter Stark and Banner, right?
Probably put together.
Wow.
They could
Reed Richards. Don't forget Reed Richards.
They couldn't show this if they wanted to, man. Just because of optics.
Oh no, this trailer it just shows me that this show is going to be suffering from Mikey Spock syndrome. If you don't remember what that is in every scene of Discovery, everybody had to remind us of how great Michael Burnham was, how smart she was, how great she was, how, whatever it was that needed to be said for that scene. Right. And that's what I got the vibes constantly from this trailers. You got to prove how smart you are. You're the smartest. You're this, you're that. You're the smartest. You're the best. You're the best.
Riri Williams was a genius.
Told you.
So,
you
went her out.
Isn't that the villain, the Hood?
Yeah, he's gonna end up being the villain. Yeah, so he's gonna end up selling her stolen parts, probably Stark tech, most likely.
Okay. Wow.
Riri, I see you. I see you fed up, waiting to be acknowledged for your greatness.
So great.
That is the dumbest line in the world.
The heroes don't want to be acknowledged. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, Andre pointed out that we just had an entire movie about a character who learned that arc, right? It was called Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah. Oh my god. And they're repeating the same mistake.
So fucking ridiculous, man.
Oh no, the difference here is that this show is about her greatness, though.
I know, but they're repeating.
She won't learn the same lesson as Deadpool. Everybody else is wrong here,
Do they not think of the damage this does to their brand after Captain America, Brave New World, after Thunderbolts, Fifi's, and big hugs? Now this, it's just the thought. I keep seeing them double down, like we don't give a shit. We just don't give a shit.
Well, what's better yet is this was shot like 2 years ago.
Oh, wow. That's right. I thought it was 4, but it was 2, right?
Maybe a little more. It was shot either right before or right after Wakanda Forever. I can't remember which. They've been sitting on it ever since. And now they've cut it down to 6 episodes because I think it was initially supposed to be 9. But yeah.
It's going to be too funny.
You are not the first genius at MIT.
And again.
Okay, so we got genius, great, genius. Like, man, we should just
smartest, greatest genius ever. Greatness.
Those fancy tech firms.
After my internship abroad, I want to build something undeniable, something
important,
iconic.
It's a brand new
So she's gonna steal another icon's icon.
I know it's obvious by now, Chris. It's just that at some point you think if you keep banging your head against the wall, the migraine will tell you to stop.
You know what's sad about this? Have I told you my pitch for Ironheart? I think I did. Oh, I haven't? Because like I said, it's not the character. It's not that's not the problem. It's how they're doing it. Because I got an Ironheart that you would love right now. Okay, you know how in real life Robert Downey Jr. is always going to children's hospitals and giving them like prosthetic limbs and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So you have that scene in the beginning of the show. Only instead of it being Robert Downey Jr., it's obviously Tony Stark giving out Stark tech to kids, a lot like his technology to help them have arms and legs and all that kind of business.
Right.
This little black girl comes up, tugs on his shoulder and says, Mr. Stark, do you have a magic heart in your case for me? Because my heart don't work right.
Oh.
Tony breaks down, doesn't know what to do at first, but then he realizes, I'll build her a heart just like mine. So he goes and he gives her the heart, helps her all through the years, raises her up, sends her to MIT and all that business. Post Endgame, after the funeral, a big crate shows up on her fucking doorstep. Inside is a big old suit, and inside it says, "You are my Ironheart."
I like that. I like that.
It's already better.
Yeah, it is already better because
it doesn't shit on the original character. It makes Tony Stark a good guy.
Yeah.
And you actually give a crap about the kid.
Just like the kid in, what was it, Iron Man 3? The one he had to drop off.
Yeah.
He dropped the pack. Yeah, that would make perfect sense. I like that.
Then you bring him in as a partner, and then you have the Iron Team kind of thing going on. Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick, that is. I love that idea too.
That's all they had to do.
And
it's not that hard. It's like they work against themselves to do these things too. That's the thing. And
guys,
I hate redundant characters, to be honest with you.
You have to remember, these people sit in a writer's room and they come up with this shit.
And they get paid for it.
They sit in a room together, and this is the best they can do.
Yeah.
But anyone who's ever accomplished anything iconic in life has had to do some questionable things to get it done.
And it's like, and I'm sure by the end she's going to realize that she's doing the wrong thing, but it's like totally going against Tony Stark's arc, right? Because Tony learned not to be selfish, learned what his weapons were actually doing, the people that were actually buying his weapons, and the destruction they were having, and that's what made him want to be Iron Man, right?
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, so that was the point I made in my reaction video, because I just posted a video right before the show about this, and I did talk about that, how, yeah, at the beginning of Iron Man 1, you see Tony as this lush, as this, arrogant, self-indulgent kind of guy.
Yeah.
And this is at the beginning of Iron Man, right? But then you see, like, just throughout that movie, a transition, right? You see him realize the damage his father's company's done to people, and he wants to help, right?
The value of life.
The value of life. I don't know if we're gonna get that really in this show.
Yeah, he was even turning a blind eye so much that he didn't realize that Obadiah was selling the weapons to their enemies and all that kind of crap. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that was a great arc, and you see how much he changes throughout the entire phase 1 through 3. That's beautiful.
Also, let me put this out there too. It's okay, Disney. You wanted us to get behind, like, the smartest black woman in the world, right? And girl power and blah 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 and all that other shit. And what do? You have the black girl stealing in her show, right? She has to steal shit.
Because they're racist at heart.
Well, they did it the other way around through the hood, I noticed this time. I don't know if they have her directly stealing the shit. That's what I said, yeah. But
I mean, she's supposed to be part of his team for a little while. Then I'm sure she'll turn on him or whatever.
But that just shows you they're true racists at heart. That's the whole
it's
point.
Like the one. Okay, so you have to have the black girl involved in a storyline where even at the beginning she's stealing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's.
You've bitten off a hell of a lot more than you can chew.
I could chew a lot.
You know nothing about this man.
You're gonna end up dead or in jail.
This is so much bigger than that.
I have to say, I don't mind the villain in this, just because he is a very street level villain. He's one of those villains where you could kill him and it doesn't matter.
It's like a Daredevil street level villain.
Yeah, like he's a good villain, but he's not the kind of villain that he's not like a Dr. Doom. You know what I mean? Like he's a villain that they can, he's exposable.
Gotcha. Not the way that they're making him look here. It looks like he's powered up.
Well, because he does have powers, but he's just not a very vital villain. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
This is wild. A shady bunker.
My bunker's not shady. Would a shady bunker have that on the wall?
What the?
It's literally a bone crate of self-guided missiles.
I'm returning those.
But see, this guy gets in. She gets in with this guy, and this guy's shady too. So, like, yeah.
Wow.
It just has it has a very Miss Marvel feel to it for me, where I'm just kind of done with this look. I'm done with these characters. I feel like
I found the music very racist too, and I'm not even black.
Why do you? Look. I get taking obscure characters and making them like, profitable. The problem is only a few people can do that. James Gunn being one of them, right? James Gunn took the Guardians, who were complete unknowns to people who didn't read comics, and made them a household name. You can't do that with every fucking obscure character in your arsenal.
No
one cared. No one cared about Miss Marvel. No one cared about She-Hulk. No one cared about Moon Knight, and that pains me to say because he's one of my favorite characters. And they did it so wrong with him.
Oh, they destroyed that character. I loved Moon Knight. I did not like what they did. And Oscar Isaac is a damn good actor. He just didn't have enough to work with.
I mean, I am happy that this is the turning point for the MCU, right? Like, I think.
You mean running into a brick wall?
Well, I think the woke era is technically over for the MCU, but the problem is that they have so much shit in the backlog that they got to put out that it doesn't feel like it is.
Fantastic Four. Remember what the Entertainment Weekly article said, where she's like, she's not going to be the classic 1960s, Invisible Woman, the motherly figure. She's going to be about the empowered female, or you're going to have her brother. He's not going to be a womanizer anymore because that's naughty. And he talked with Feige and they agreed. No. So I don't know.
Johnny Storm was never like a lech. He wasn't like, just some asshole who was like sexually harassing women and shit.
He didn't harass, but he was a womanizer. He loved women.
He just liked
loved women. Think about what you just said there for a second. I say womanizer, you're like, well, he wasn't a lech. How terms have changed. Womanizer, he was a guy who liked to have fun. He liked
but the way they were trying to paint him.
Right, I know.
No, but George is right. Like, and I noticed this too. You have to basically use the term playboy now, George, because womanizer is so negative. Like, it's not the same thing it kind of used to mean. It doesn't mean you just love women anymore. It means you basically use and abuse women now. That's
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, you know what I found funny today is the fact that hold on, let me pull it out. Where did she go? Where
Playboy or fuckboy, I guess, is the new term. Fuckboy is the
fuckboy.
new term.
Fuckboy is definitely the newest term.
Wow. Where did she go? She disappeared. You remember who played Jinx in James Bond?
Oh, not you're talking about and I can't believe I even know this.
Is it Halle Berry?
Halle Bailey.
I always Halle Bailey.
No, Barry.
Bailey
is the
other one.
mermaid.
Yeah, Bailey's the mermaid. And then you have the other Halle from Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Oh, Haley Atwell. Yeah.
Atwell.
I mean, not Atwell. Steinfeld.
Steinfeld. There's three of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many of them, man.
There's a lot of Halleys out there. Well, she came out today. I thought this was pretty cool. She's at Cannes, and she felt kind of based.
007 really should be a woman. I mean, in 2025, it's nice to say, oh, she should be a woman, but I don't really know if I think that's the right thing to do. And no, I doubt there'll be a Jinx spinoff. There was a time that could have happened, probably should have happened. I would have loved for that to happen.
It almost did happen.
I think that time has passed.
I thought that was pretty cool. She's getting a lot of crap for that, actually, 3 hours after she said it, because they're like, sure.
No, I applaud her for it because Helen Mirren went the other way and said, oh, no, Bond is a womanizing, blah, blah, blah. Like, what Bond movie did you not get a part for back in the day that you have a hard on for Bond now, or what? No, that is so uncharacteristic for Helen Mirren to say shit like that.
It actually kind of is, now that I think about it.
That I'm sitting here going, she didn't get a part at some point. That's why she's pissed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And she's doing great in Mobland. I don't know if y'all seen it. I
love the show. I love hating her in the show, which is strange because usually I like her.
Starting it tonight. So.
You're gonna love it.
You're gonna enjoy it. Yeah.
Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, the entire cast. If you haven't checked it out, everybody in the audience, go watch Mobland. It's already been renewed for season 2.
Guy Ritchie.
Yep, Guy Ritchie at his best. Just like The Gentleman. It is phenomenal. But Tom Hardy, again, I love Tom Hardy. There was a series that I watched with him, season 1, that him and his dad wrote, and I believe produced, called Taboo. And it was supposed to come out with season 2, but it never did. That was a few years ago, but Momland is love Mobland. So that was Halle Bailey. Now Halle Berry, damn it. Now
Halle Berry has always been pretty based. I mean, she was never a wokey. So I mean,
right. I like it though. She didn't bend the knee.
No, she does. She hasn't, man. In fact, it's crazy. As she gets older, she gets more based.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then you had Nobody come out, Nobody 2, which I was actually stunned by it. I'm gonna say I didn't know it made that it made enough money to have a sequel.
Oh, the first one did really well.
It didn't cost anything. That's the main thing.
I thought Odenkirk would have been expensive after Better Call Saul.
No, not really. And it didn't have like a bunch of special effects or anything. So
and Odenkirk he's still just a working actor. I mean, he's not like
You mean after Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul?
Yeah, he's not. Believe it or not, George, he's not a household name. I mean, like we know who he is, but you know,
the original film only cost $16 million to make.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow, I did not know that. I really thought he was a household name. Like I thought he had broken through.
No, I think he's more known than he was, but I think for the most part, like he's still not like completely recognizable as a name.
And the first one grossed $57 million in its opening. It went on to do it. So I mean, yeah, it didn't do great, but it did well enough that
it made profit.
Yeah, the sequel and plus on streaming and all that business. So like the sequel probably will make $100 million, close to it. So
the vacation thing.
My only issue with this is, have you guys seen The Family Plan with Marky Mark?
No.
It's an Apple movie. It's kind of the same thing already. That's the problem. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Well, I mean,
good or bad?
It's good, but I'm just like, oh, so like they're doing this because I'm watching this and I know everybody's like really into it. And I'm like, I kind of like certain aspects of it, but it feels like maybe they should have done like a Yo Jimbo fistful of dollars thing here when they get to this resort town, because otherwise it's like, of course he goes to a resort town that, you know, has a big, you know, crime element to it. It's like, well, if you're going to do that, then you need to play with that a little bit. So hopefully there's more to it than what we get in the trailer. That's just my only complaint so far.
Chris is right. National Lampoon's Nobody. So anything? Excitement? Interest? Anyone?
I mean, I'm interested for sure.
What about you, chat? Is any of this tickle you go like, yeah, I want to go see it. I want to shell out some money over the summer for this. Or are you going to wait till streaming? Because I didn't see the original in the movie theater. I saw it when it hit streaming.
Fake. There's no way you were just some family man.
Is that Colin Hanks?
I think so.
Yeah, it is. That is now.
All we need is Chevy Chase in here. It'll be perfect.
I know, right? And Beverly D'Angelo.
Oh yeah,
I know, right?
From back then.
Yes. From back then, not now.
That's not now, man. What kind of channel you think
She's still
this is?
funny as hell, though. I will give you that much. Like, she is still pretty goddamn funny for her age.
She is.
Things.
But Sharon,
nothing beats that first vacation movie, though, man.
No way. But I will say, Sharon Stone is woke as fuck.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, just
she's
out
nutty.
there. She's out there. Like,
she's always been nutty, though.
yeah, but she used to be just regular Hollywood nut. You know, now she was toasting Robert De Niro's kid last week because the kid came out as trans, and
of course he did.
De Niro's kid, and then De Niro makes a statement about it, and yeah, Connie Nielsen. I love Connie Nielsen ever since The Devil's Advocate and Gladiator. But
this one has to make money. This one, I guess, has a $60 million budget. So
it needs what, 120 to break even, right?
It'll probably hit that though.
A little bit more than that, but yeah.
Oh, after you take in the theaters 50%, right?
That and advertising and all that. But yeah. But who put this out? Because it's Universal, so it'll go to Peacock after the fact. So yeah, they might have took some money from there too. So
I don't know. Universal, they pull their movies pretty quick from the theater.
They do 36 days. They have a 36-day window. Yeah,
I don't understand that, but
and they did it to Nosferatu.
They did it to Wicked.
Which again doesn't make any fucking sense. Like they don't.
Like Wicked was making money. I'm like, what are we doing here, people?
No, Universal's the worst at this. They started this whole goddamn thing, and they're still stuck on this 36-day or less window. and I don't know why.
But how do their bean counters not look at it and go, the movie's making money, just leave it there?
I think they found some way to write it off through Peacock, and that's got to be it, because otherwise, why would you have any incentive whatsoever? The only other thing I can think of, and this is basically the only possibility, is that they like the idea that they can take a movie, pull it 36 days after while it's still in theaters technically, because they know the theaters won't pull it like they used to, and they can still have it on streaming. So basically they're making a hell of a lot more money on PVOD, like when you go and buy it on Amazon or Apple or Vudu or whatever it is they call it now, Fandango.
Yeah.
You know, when you pay it for the $24.99 version of it, they make a hell of a lot more off that $24.99 than they probably do each sold ticket, right? Because especially as you get to the third or fourth week of a movie being out, this is what I remind people. Yeah, every week that goes by, the theaters get to keep more and more of the money. You got to remember that too, because it starts out like 60-40. Then by the time the end of the run, the theaters are keeping like 60-70% of the money. So at that point, I think they see it as a more financially for them. They're making more money on throwing it on video on demand, I think is what they think. And they may be right for now. It may be a short-term gain in the end of the day, but I think you're right. They're shooting themselves in the foot by pulling movies like Wicked and Nosferatu and stuff like that are doing extremely well. Nosferatu was just starting to pick up momentum.
Right,
because people weren't even aware of it. Yeah, they weren't even really aware of it until all of a sudden, boom. Can you imagine had Warner Brothers done that to Sinners?
Oh, it'd be gone. Yeah, that would be horrible. It wouldn't have made what it is. But just these decisions, I think E. Clayton Thompson is right. You know, their bean counters are using Common Core math. It's just, but I agree with you. There's got to be something in there. There's just no way, because they've done this. And what about the actors or the directors? If they have any points in the film, doesn't that?
That's where these other paydays come in. And this is where I think Peacock and other things come into the side of it, because we've actually gotten a little bit of an idea of how this works now. Like, first of all, we know that half the money goes right back towards the production company, whatever production company they work with, in their pockets for the cost of doing business.
Right.
And then we've learned from like the guys who've made like what was it, the Roadhouse remake, and
Guy Ritchie's making it.
Yeah, and the Beetlejuice sequel, because originally they wanted the Beetlejuice sequel to go to Max, and Tim Burton was offered almost twice as much money if he'd just go straight to Max. Which doesn't financially make money, but there must be some way they're writing it off through the streaming service that they're making money on the back end somehow. However they're doing it, I don't know. They're Fugazi math. They figure shit out. I don't know. I would love to have like some insight into some of that business, because that would really open things up for us to understand why they're doing these things the way they are, because that's the only thing that makes sense, is they got to be making some money on the kickback side of things by putting it straight to their streaming service quicker and quicker and quicker. And Peacock, yeah.
No, I agree with you, but it's almost like the same reason. Why would Disney, in the reverse hand, why would they release Snow White last weekend to be humiliated in the press?
They were trying to get it over the $200 million hump worldwide, I think was their whole goal, and it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Because they've done that. They do that all the time. Verbal, I think, knows what I'm talking about, where they'll release one of their movies just so they can kind of bump it up to get it over a certain threshold.
And you got another role.
I'm sure some dumbass thought, "Hey, it's Mother's Day. Let's re-release Snow White." So
so stupid. The movie without any mothers in it.
They can go watch a movie about an evil fucking stepmom, right?
Right. Yeah, the movie without any mothers in it. Yeah.
And Zegler just got another role, a tiny role in an independent film.
I've heard she's actually got like 3 things coming up here, but so I'm kind of not surprised. But
I was surprised.
I bet you they're going to be junk roles. I bet you they're going to be shit. Like, if she's going to start accepting whatever she can fucking get at this point, and you can put her on a marquee or put her name in front of investors, and they know the name.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, that looks like, especially when you combine her with 2 or 3 other people.
But you know what though? If she were smart, man, she would just like she would do no marketing. She would do no red carpets. Just take the roles, get your money, disappear.
That or get whoever Brie Larson's publicist is hire them, whoever it was that's been helping her kind of revamp her image.
Well, she's playing Evita this summer in the West End of London in theater, and they haven't been able to sell almost half the tickets because they slapped her up on the billboard. Zegler was like, she's just too damaged. I think she needs to do like off Broadway for a little while. Small theaters.
She just needs to stick to the vagina monologues, basically.
Basically, yeah.
No, she's absolute poison, man.
Yeah. I can't see a studio putting her in anything big budget. I remember the rumors that we heard 3 months ago Marvel was looking at her for. I was like, I think that's all full of shit.
I can believe that, but that's just because they were trying to generate some headlines. It doesn't mean it'll necessarily go anywhere.
Okay, it looks like fun. It looks like fun. What else? Oh, here's something funny. Last week, Versace, the fashion designer, had announced that in 2024, they had lost 15%. They had dropped 15% in global sales and 21% in the United States. It's a huge hit. And what do you think was their idea to rebuild their brand in America? Would anybody like to take a guess? One guess. Who would they hire to represent them?
For who?
Versace.
Oh, shit. I mean, pick any weirdo, man. I mean,
Dylan Mulvaney.
Yep.
Yes, I was right.
You know what? I didn't want to go with the obvious. I was like,
come on. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? They lost 20% of their American market, and they're like, Dylan Mulvaney is going to bring us back.
Versace, who cares? This is where they should have been in the first place.
But this is what I don't understand is why do these companies think that Dylan Mulvaney is the person who's going to bring in profit for them, right?
It didn't work for Bud Light.
Now maybe Versace's a better fit for Dylan
That's what
Mulvaney.
I'm getting at. It's a better fit for Mulvaney, yeah.
Really?
Than Bud Light?
Because it's closer to the Versace audience? Absolutely. Because, yeah, there's nobody in the Bud Light audience that looks at Dylan Mulvaney and go, God, I wish I could be Dylan Mulvaney. Right?
Yeah, and you got to figure Versace, it's like a lot of gay folks who are into that.
Exactly. So. Bingo. Verbal knows where I'm coming from here.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, Tom just sent me this link, and I was going to talk about it, but you actually found a better link. I had the article. You had the article. We actually talked about this 2 months ago, but I'm not going to spoil it. We talked about it because
I've been saying it since the start that it was a stupid move.
It is a stupid move. HBO was the very first cable channel I can remember. I don't think there was anything else before that. It's the first one we got in our house. And then they changed.
But I like this little candid moment that they released. It feels like it is real. So
no, I have an article about it. Why they changed?
Yeah, we're calling it HBO.
No, I mean the James Gunn thing here.
Calling HBO Max again? Hey, I'm James Gunn. Be sure to watch season 2 of Peacemaker streaming this Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern on HBO Max. God, we're calling it HBO Max. What? It's calling HBO Max again? Yeah.
As of tomorrow.
Wow.
Is that going to be announced at the upfront?
That's good, actually.
No shit, because
see, that's what I mean. I feel like it's a genuine response from him. He's like, "Duh, that's dumb. That's the smartest move you guys did." Yeah.
You know, I put a link in the private chat, but what's really cool and kind of funny is that HBO is making fun of themselves about this.
Okay.
And so they're doing this with a sense of humor. It's like, yeah, we know we fucked up, but we're gonna make fun of ourselves. You know,
this is good. Yeah.
Why don't they just fucking go back to HBO?
Actually, here's another one. I just put it in the chat. Yeah, so they're totally they're spoofing themselves at this point.
They're embracing the South Park joke. Yes.
Yeah. So you know what? You got to give them that. You got to give them like, okay, we fucked up, but we're gonna make fun of ourselves here.
I like this one even.
Yeah, because
better.
you're right, George. The dumbest thing in the world was taking what was the best, arguably, of all the streaming services, like by far, as far as like I said, they have the market name, right? HBO. Everybody knows what the fuck HBO is. They know what it means. They know what it stands for. And we all know HBO and Cinemax are one in the same company. So Smack and HBO Max together, brilliant, perfect. And guess what? You're not even doing the plus or max thing like everybody else. It actually means something in your title, right? Because of Cinemax.
But also,
okay,
it says a lot though when a business admits they fucked up, right? Like
exactly,
when they and joke about it and be like, "Hey, you know what the fuck were we thinking?" You got to give them some credit. It's like
I give them credit.
That takes self-awareness, man.
which is rare today, which is rare. But the funny thing is like when I in 1998 to 99, I traveled through Mexico. I went to Guatemala, Salvador, Nicaragua. I went everywhere. Everybody know what the hell HBO is. I mean, like it's one of those things like Coca-Cola or ice cream. Years later, you're like, Max. I'm like, what is Max? HBO Max. No, Max. I'm like, no. It's just whoever made that decision should have been fired. And now they're playing the joke on it. But yeah, that was silly. But at least they, like you said, they admitted their mistake. Where is the... Oh, and this came out the other day before we move on. Since Ironheart is going to be pumped out by Disney, I was like, maybe now we know why the parks are starting to charge so much. This went viral, this video, this father who was sharing how much it cost him for his family of 5 to go to Disneyland.
Here's what a day at Disney cost me for a family of 5. Before we even got into the park, it cost me $30 just for parking. And even being a Florida resident, tickets for a family of 5 with one child under 10 was still $974. Paying for the Lightning Lane was $35 per person and only would have given us speed access to 3 rides. So we opted out of that. Right after our first ride, we bought 2 waters and 3 ice creams. This totaled $29.50. After the second ride, they wanted a pretzel and I wanted a beer. This was another $19.
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
This guy right here wanted a lightsaber for $44.99, but I was a hard
no.
After that, it was time for lunch, so we went to the Brown Derby where we could sit down for a little bit and order a decent meal. They didn't like the options and the prices were outrageous, so we left and went somewhere else. We each ended up with a small pizza, each had a side and a small drink, totaling $44.35.
That's not
bad. After lunch,
actually,
we took
right
off,
there.
waited more line.
No, the food
For
there,
4 kids, that's not to feed. Yeah, that's not too bad.
I wonder what it was at the Brown Derby, because I remember the Brown Derby restaurant though in Hollywood.
Well, it's probably $40 a plate.
Yeah, probably.
And we also met a few characters along the way.
Wait a minute, I thought Galaxy's Edge was closed.
No, just the
hotel thing. The
hotel thing is done. Yeah.
Once we got to Star Wars Land, we had to buy some blue milk for $10.29.
Great.
It tasted like a slushie with nerds on
So all of them and Luke get to suck blue milk. Great.
top. We took a few minutes to meet Kylo Ren.
Your courage will be tested and rewarded.
The kids then snuck away and bought some Star Wars Coca-Cola. This was $6.50, but this guy said it was worth it. After the next ride, we went and had a churro, a water, and a margarita. It had been a long day at this point. That margarita was well needed. This was another $36. And just as I thought the day was finally over, the rest of the family decided they want to go to dinner at downtown Disney Springs. This place was my literal hell. It was shoulder to shoulder in every store and restaurant. We ended up at the Formata Cocina for some Mexican food. $30 for carnitas, $19 margarita, $8 corn, $30 carne asada, and then each of the kids with drinks and food were an additional $30 to $40 each, totaling $245.27 for dinner. There was some sticker shock here, and right after that, they all wanted to go shop. Luckily, it was getting late, and we decided to not go into any stores. The grand total for our day was $1,391.91.
What do y'all think?
This is the problem with oh, go ahead, Verbal.
No, go ahead.
I mean, I've never really been to a lot of these resorts, so I have very little to say about it anyway, but that's one of the reasons why I never could afford to take like my kid to Disneyland or Disney World or anything like that, because it's just too goddamn expensive. And I mean, I live in a town in Wisconsin, so we have the Wisconsin Dells, so I already know how a lot of that shit works. You think I'm going to travel halfway across the country to have the same shit happen to me, only twice as hard? Right? Like, no fucking way. No, it's a big fucking jip. I was surprised he was able to feed the family for $44. You can't even do that in a fast food restaurant now. So you got lucky. That's the only time I saw him luck out. Otherwise, the rest of that trip, way overpriced. And I don't even see how anybody can afford to do that. Even some people who are wealthy.
Yeah,
like
that's
just to dump that kind of money.
That's it for a day.
Yeah.
A day. What about the people who want to stay for 3 or 4 days? I mean, are they spending $4 or $5 grand?
Well, dude, easily. And the thing is, you can't even go to these parks anymore, man. I mean, I know very few native Californians who go to Disneyland anymher. Like,
what's the other one there? I went younger, one in my teens. It wasn't Disneyland. It was the one that other big park next to it, not Fields.
Well, the only reason why Disneyland is packed normally is because of people coming from out of town or from out of state. But it's ridiculous, man. You're going to drop about $3 or $4 grand. If you got a family of 4, you're fucked.
So Californians don't go, or Floridians don't go every day, because I just wonder if people who live in the area.
I mean,
they go, Knott's
these
Berry
days,
Farm. That's right, Alex. It was Knott's Berry Farm. That's where I went.
yeah, no, these days not so much, man. With the economy being weird and fucked up, and food being outrageously priced, and housing, no, dude, Disneyland is crazy. Like they get people from out of town, and normally you got to save up like a king's ransom to go. So.
And especially now that I heard last week that Gavin Newsom was saying that because the last refinery might close in California, that gas would shoot up to $7 to $8.50 a gallon. And the refinery is blaming him. The refinery is blaming him on all the legislation that he and Santa Barbara have, not Santa Barbara, that the legislation have put out that has cost them too much money to actually refine oil.
Well, so is the film industry. They're blaming him for, how fucked up they are right now because of the fact that they can't shoot anything here.
But could you imagine $7 to $8 a gallon for gas?
Here, yeah, I could believe it. Here,
I would think people would revolt at that price.
You would think, but no. But here's the thing: like I keep saying, I keep telling everybody, man, as nutty and as stupid as California is, as long as they remain a sanctuary state for women who want to either kill babies or transition them, then people will keep voting for this.
Unbelievable. Well, there's one person who knows how to sell a movie, and I'm looking forward to it. It's Tom Cruise.
Oh, I saw that.
Hi, everyone.
I saw the movie.
On May 22nd, I'm coming
Wait a minute.
to great state.
Wait a minute. You saw it already?
Yeah, I went Monday with Gore to go watch the screening of it. Me, him, and Alan.
I thought that was some kind of AI shit that y'all were trolling us. I was like, no way you saw it.
No. We watched the movie. So I know.
How was it?
Well, I can't talk about it yet. How
was it? Good or bad? You can say that, yes? Because I think it looks great. No?
You know what? It was fine.
Excited? Oh.
It was fine. It wasn't.
It's not his best?
It wasn't what I was hoping it would end it on, like as far as ending the series on. As far as where it falls in the series, it's better than 2.
Okay.
It's better than Mission Impossible 2.
Okay. I remember. Are you talking about the J.J. Abrams one?
That's all I could really say. Yeah.
Wow. Because
look, it's fine. You'll
the second one was the John Woo one. The third one was the Abrams one.
Yeah.
Which is the one with Anthony Hopkins? Where he's the director.
Is that 2?
The one with the virus is the one I couldn't stand.
Oh, was that the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman?
No, it's the one with the guy who acted like he was Tom Cruise and the chameleon virus or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Chimera virus.
Yeah,
and
Hopkins was in part 2. 2 and 3 were the weakest of the bunch, and then I don't know. I did not care for the last one as much as everybody else did.
But here's the thing: I will say this: Dead Reckoning was better than this one.
Really?
Ooh, that's not good.
So
wow. I kind of like Dead Reckoning. I know not a lot of people did, but
I actually liked it. I thought it was fine. I thought it was better than fine, actually. But this movie is just fine.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then. Cruise has given multiple statements that this is the end of it for him, and then he's given statements that he wants to continue doing this, just like Harrison Ford continued doing Indiana Jones until his 80s.
I think he should end it with this.
Well, his pattern to this point, if you go look at the films, was he'll do a couple, then he'll do a break. Then he'll do a couple, then he'll do a break. Then he'll do a couple more. And then he hasn't really taken a break since then. So I think what he's getting at is he's ready to take a break and then come back and revisit it in a few years from now, 5-10 years from now. But I don't know what his relationship is right now over at Paramount. They're the ones that are pushing the idea of trying to sell this as the last one. So I don't know, because if you guys remember, he moved his offices from Paramount to Warner Brothers this last year.
Right.
Here's no longer. I don't know how much more longer he's going to be making a bunch of films for Paramount. Yeah.
So does this leave it open for him to be able to do more? That's the only thing I want to know. Or you can't say.
I can't say yet.
Okay.
My thing was like, get some popcorn, like maybe have like a beer or two before and just enjoy the ride. Yeah.
Did they do the buckets?
Yeah. I forgot which ones they were, but yeah, they had Mission Impossible buckets.
Oh, okay. Because I wonder if that fad is dying or on its last legs or still going.
I mean, I guess it's still going, but my thing is I have no room for all that shit, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I like the way that he's promoting it because this one he's coming to Texas.
Texas. And I'll be visiting Fort Sam Houston and San Antonio before stopping by some theaters to see you at some of the first screenings of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Then we're going to fly to Dallas, where I'm going to get some delicious barbecue before going to more theaters to say hello. And I can't wait. We'll see you at the movies.
Not only did I like this, there was another clip that I really enjoyed. He was at I guess it was a premiere for it or screening, where he actually talked to the YouTubers who were there and recognized them.
McHugh. So great to meet you. Yes. Hi. Oh my gosh. You guys make
You're here.
The best. Oh my gosh. We just say you guys are like the dynamic duo.
You guys are so fantastic.
You're so nice.
You guys, do you know how this whole thing came together?
A tweet.
We were in Africa. We were shooting part 2.
Okay.
And we saw your review of Fall. Eddie Hamilton, Eddie was like, you got to see this. We watched it over breakfast one morning. We were in absolute stitches and we were like, we got it. We're having so much fun. We're working really hard and it just brightened our whole day.
Oh my goodness.
Just you guys are so charming.
You're so kind. That is so nice. We watched all your movies on the channel. Which one should we do next? Risky Business, Cocktail?
I don't know who the hell they are, but I can tell you, I feel like Tom Cruise, and I've said it before, I feel like he's the last movie star we have. You know, they tried to grab him on the red carpet at one of his premieres and ask him about Trump's tariffs on Hollywood. And he totally ignored. He's like, I'm here to do the, he's just talking about the movie. I like that. He's here to sell a movie. Damn it.
Yeah, he's one of the few, man. Like I would put him in like maybe Brad Pitt in the same category, but I think especially for Tom Cruise, man, like he just wants to sell his film.
Yeah, but I like that.
Like he doesn't give a shit about all this other stuff.
Right, but that's what movie stars used to do. You know, they didn't jump into all this, whatever their personal politics were, unless they were waving the flag for America, they didn't pretty much.
But you're also talking about a guy who's been in the business for a very long time, and like, I don't know, outside of like, nut jobs like Robert De Niro, who should know better.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Robert De Niro has also like reached that age where he gives zero fucks.
Right.
And he's just going to be as loony as he wants to be and doesn't care. Like Robert De Niro doesn't care if he never gets another role.
That's obvious at this point.
Where I think Tom Cruise does still want to do
movies. Well, Tom just sent me this. Variety just released their review. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Tom Cruise flies high in a thrillingly doom-laden series grand finale. It's the most enveloping Mission Impossible film since Ghost Protocol because something's at stake. Because Tom Cruise's stunt work is off the hook. I love that he does all his, just like
the stunt work was amazing in this film.
In the "Don't Try This at Home" climax of Mission. Does anybody want me to hear this? I don't know if it has spoilers in it or not. It didn't say.
You gotta be careful because some of these do have spoilers. So.
Okay, Tom Cruise is something you'd expect. He's featured in the kind of elaborate stunt sequences that become his 30-year-old series trademark. But he also does something you may not expect. He tops himself in the most outrageous way. He literally flies beyond all the stunts he's done before, leaving us in an exhilarated state of awe. Okay. I'm not going to read the rest of them in case people don't want any spoilers. Let's check some of the super chat outs. SD0, remember for 13 months, Tom Cruise was my pick for Dr. Doom. A lot of people did. I also picked him. But I also had chosen for Mads Mikkelsen to be Doom. Thank you for that, SD0. Mark of Reality, great to see you here, my friend, for $5. Tom Cruise seems to be the only Hollywood person who has his head on straight. He actually has a feel for the audience and the public, and he does. 100% agree with you. We also have one from Steel Leg of History earlier. Member for 16 months, and we're going strong, brother. So proud of you. Be blessed. Thanks for everything. Thank you. Thank you for all your support and all your blessings. We also got Red French Moon, member for 10 months. I like the gun trailer. Got a lot of Superman in. Well, that's good. Hey, I will never rain on anyone's parade if you enjoy something out of it. So that's good to hear. Now, I want to
Really quickly.
Yeah.
I just put another link, another HBO link in the.
Oh God, there's another one
in the private chat.
Oh.
No.
Oh, damn. Hold on.
They are still going.
That's too funny. Let me share it.
Yeah, you gotta give him credit, man.
That's the way to play it. That's the way to play
It would only been better if instead of the crow, it was one of the like either Tweety Bird or something like that.
That's funny. That is the way to do it, though. When you screw up,
but you got to read the caption because like the picture doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, it's clearly breaking. White smoke was seen coming from the Warner Brothers water tower. A brand new brand has been chosen. The new brand is the old brand.
Oh wow.
My favorite one is still the Superman one because I don't know if you guys noticed, besides the HBO Now, HBO Max, and Max, in the background behind the boxes was HBO Go hiding. I don't know if you guys saw that.
No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, little HBO Go back there hiding in the background.
God, I remember that.
You know who else is teaming up now? Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock gearing up for Speed reunion in new romantic thriller. I don't know what to
It's
make.
not a
Speed
sequel, but it's a
reunion of the couple.
Yeah.
In some kind of it's described as a propulsive project. The film will be written by Noah Oppenheim, Jackie the Maze Runner, and will reunite the two actors with Speed producer Mark Gordon, who also produced hits like Saving Private Ryan and The Patriot. Okay.
So when I remember when this first came out, people were thinking it was going to be a Speed sequel. Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't really done it though. Wow.
That's the one he said no to right away. That's the only one he's ever really said no to was a Speed sequel.
Hello, Speed 3. I can't drive over 55. Grab web for $2 in the name of all that's totally canceled. Disney Plus. I think the gods are listening too because they've done such crap
Speed
lately.
3, they take his license because he's too old.
Yeah.
You can't drive anymore.
So let's spend a few minutes on Andor. What did you think of the finale?
Didn't watch it.
I liked it a lot, man. For me, it wasn't as good as a previous arc. Last week's arc was just untouchable. But I do like the way they ended it, man. It was, basically this past arc was the last arc was the road to Rogue One, right? But seeing how we got there, I thought was really cool. I've gone on, and I'm going to do my own video on the whole series, but man, and me and Rob Burnett completely agree on this, man. I feel like, for me, this Andor has been closest to what we've had to the original, to the OT.
I agree.
In anything we've gotten, anything, including the prequels, man. I feel like this is closer to what we got in the original trilogy, and I say that mainly because of the fact that, yeah, we all love lightsabers, we all love the Force and all that other stuff. But if you remember, and A New Hope, the very first Star Wars movie, before it was even called A New Hope,
just Star Wars.
When it was just Star Wars, at that point in the story, the Force was practically dead. It was almost like the guy said in the boardroom with Vader, it was a wacky religion, right? Because it was almost erased for the most part by the Empire. So the Force wasn't a big driving thing in the original trilogy outside of Luke and Vader, right? Everything else was about the war. Everything else was about the rebels versus the Empire. And I felt like Andor captured that so much for me that it felt more Star Wars than the Clone Wars or anything else that we've gotten, because it felt closer to the original trilogy.
I can't agree with you anymore. I loved Andor, except for the first 3 episodes of this season, which to me were lifetime Hallmark television.
It wasn't a perfect show. It wasn't a perfect series, but it was damn good.
I had posted about it. I even had sent a message to Drinker. I'm like, I feel like this is Star Wars. Those last few episodes, I was like,
oh my God. Yeah.
I haven't seen Star Wars or felt Star Wars in such a long time. It's just numb. It's just another show. And it's a great way to watch it in one way is because you basically have 20 hours of Andor, but if you skip the 3 episodes of the first 3 episodes of season 2, you have about 17 hours of Andor, and then you go straight into Rogue One. You can go straight into Star Wars. That means if you skip all the other Rebels and shit animated shows.
turtles.
But I found out there's this video that has been doing the rounds by what are their names? It's called The House of R. They are 2 people who work in the studio system and they have a podcast. And they pretty much were cracking why Star Wars sucks with their contacts. Oh, it was kind of interesting. It basically is Filoni's fault. It seems all of it, even more so than Kennedy. It was odd. They were talking about how in Andor, there's a civil war that's going on inside of Lucasfilm.
I've been hearing for years that people at Lucasfilm don't, outside of Kathy Kennedy, who loves Tony Gilroy, don't really like Andor, and they don't like the way that people always talk about Andor being the quote unquote good one and like all that sort of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like a win is a win or whatever. But yeah, the Filoni Gilroy civil war happening inside of Lucasfilm. And like, to be fair, it's not even like really a civil war because like it's Filoni's house to a certain degree, and Gilroy just got to get away with doing 2 seasons of masterful television.
Implying that the other stuff
is shit. Well, what they go on, because it's 3 hours, what they basically go on is the fact that Tony Gilroy, they state, is loved by Kathleen Kennedy, and that Filoni blocks every pitch that comes to Lucasfilm for any Star Wars project that doesn't fit his vision for Star Wars.
Yeah, no, Filoni's a fucking asshole, man. And look, I love the Clone Wars as a show.
Yeah,
I think was there a lot of filler episodes and throwaway episodes in that show? Absolutely. And dude, you're talking about a show with what, 20 episodes a season? There's going to be filler. There's going to be throwaway episodes. I understand that. I'm not shitting on the Clone Wars. I'm not shitting on
I love the Clone Wars.
on the prequels, even though, let's be real here, no one loved the prequels till way later. Man, no one loved the prequels at the time of the prequels.
I liked Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. I did not like Phantom Menace.
I liked Revenge of the Sith, but I hated both of the movies before it. I hated the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. I think a lot of people did too. And I mean, shit, they bullied that poor man who played Jar Jar for years. Yeah. And the kid that played Anakin, Jake Lloyd. I mean, shit. I mean, he became a criminal. They bullied that boy so bad.
That I didn't know. Wow. I know they bullied him. I didn't know he became a criminal. But I
he was in jail for a while. But
I liked Filoni's early work. I did. I liked Clone Wars. I liked Clone Wars, the movie. I did not like Ahsoka, Acolyte, Obi-Wan. All that shit to me was just, especially after I listened to Star Wars Theory. It was a video, I think it was a year ago. He shared the original Obi-Wan script. It was supposed to be 3 films, and it was brilliant.
Wow.
Brilliant. Go listen. He has the video up, and he's sharing, and I'm listening to it. And I'm like, that's Star Wars. And the guy who wrote it, but the guy who wrote it wanted to direct it. Kathleen Kennedy hated him and did not want that vision. I was like, okay.
Well, and the thing about Andor, say what you want to about it. It's not lore breaking.
No.
You know what I mean? Like some of those other shows, Obi-Wan was fucking lore breaking, man. Like honestly, I hate Obi-Wan more than the Acolyte. I hate Obi-Wan more than any Star Wars show that they've done because of how much of the lore they fucked up in that show.
Wow. Well, what they're saying in the video goes on with these 2 gals, and they're explaining that Gilroy broke Filoni's lore from the Rebels TV series, which I haven't seen. And Mon Mothma's speech is supposed to happen on the Rebels ship and not supposed to happen actually in the Senate. And Gilroy and his brother, which I didn't know, he was working with his brother, Dan Gilroy. They basically said, fuck this. We're going to do it our way. They didn't want to follow the
You know what, though? But even that wasn't lore breaking because what they did was they still transferred her to Gold Squadron, right? She still could have made that same her speech right after that point in the episode. So even that wasn't lore breaking.
Okay.
So I mean, honestly, man, look again. Andor was not a perfect show, but it was
They had a lot of heart. Great
it was
acting.
so well done. Like the characters. I love just seeing how the rebellion went from a heist to what it became on Yavin. Like, I don't know. I can't say enough good things about the show.
I loved Luthen.
Oh, great character.
I loved Luthen.
Great character, man.
And Miro, Deidre, I love the fact that she got bit in the ass. It's like, there's your empire, bitch.
Dude, Cyril was such a great character, man. Like, I you know, the way he met his end, you know, while spoiling, I feel like I didn't. It was.
He went ape shit for no reason though, and that, you know what I'm talking about, Cyril.
Well, he went apeshit because of the fact that he realized his whole life was a lie, man. Like at that point, right?
But he went on Cassian. I'm like, out of the blue. It was like, what are you blaming him for all your problems?
Well, because he's been hunting Cassian since season 1.
But you know, Cassian doesn't know who the hell he is. It's just this guy starts beating him.
And that was the beautiful part of it, right? It's like the guy you had an obsession with,
right?
Like the guy who ruined your life doesn't even know who you are.
I know it was cold and it was brilliant.
It was so good. It was just so well written, man.
I will tell you, I like the way it was done, but it irritates you about a part about the rebellion, the way that they showed it, because, you know, you have Cassian sitting here trying to get information, trying to save them, trying to pass on. And they're arguing about, you didn't do this the right way. You didn't do this the right way. We don't believe you. I'm like, what are y'all, a bunch of bureaucrats? Or it showed you what's underneath the myth of Obi-Wan and Luke and that bigger battle of light versus dark. You get
but it's also realistic, man. In a rebellion, people are like, they don't agree with everything, man. And you even saw that in that scene where they're talking to Saw Gerrera through the hologram, right? How even though they're technically on the same side, like they can't stand each other.
Yeah, it's odd. So I wish we could get Star Wars like this. I would watch it. I think it would bring it back.
And I love what they did with Saw Gerrera in this show, man. Like it's like, look, he's always been an asshole, but at least in this show, you kind of understand where he's coming from.
But they tried to frame him as a terrorist. You know that the way that they had him.
Because he is. He's an extremist, right? I mean, he's
right, but he keeps telling them, he's like, he goes, we're all criminals. You're the only one who's not acting like it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I loved it all. So there was something I was going to ask you, unless it's me and I missed a scene. Wasn't Vader supposed to be in this? I remember the trailer, the teaser for.
I don't remember seeing Vader in the trailers for Andor.
I thought I did. It was supposed to.
And I remember Gilroy saying specifically, Vader nor Palpatine were going to be in the show. So.
Because we didn't even hear his voice. I thought eventually we'd hear, you know, a speech from Palpatine, some kind of call.
But in a way, I'm kind of glad we didn't, because I you know, it makes the Empire bigger.
Yeah, I know.
When you don't have to have Vader and Palpatine in every single thing, right? It makes it feel bigger, because you know they're out there somewhere doing whatever Vader and Palpatine are doing, but the Empire is so big, you don't have to have them in everything.
Right. I did like Krennic coming back.
Oh, that was great. Yeah. Oh, and he was so menacing.
He was. And in the end,
menacing, man.
Ooh, and in the end with Deidre.
Oh, that's the scene I'm talking about.
Putting his finger on her head the way he did it was like she was like a pimple he was gonna pop. It was just like,
it's so good.
I just gotta say, Gil, I wish he would do some Star Wars. Let's take a look at a couple more of these things and we'll start to wrap up. Verbal and Tom have sent me more of these HBO Max. Oh my God, this is funny.
They're so good. I mean, they're handling this the right way.
Oh yeah, they're playing with it. Here we go. Wow, it's too funny. It is too funny. Here's another one. Tom's. Oh, here you go. We already did that one.
Yeah, they've been having some fun with this. I got to give them full credit for. I love it when somebody goes, "What is happening right now?" And I'm just like healing vibes, and I put the Mr. Miyagi. What is healing, Daniel?
Is this one? HBO is a premium streaming service that houses content from many brands, including HBO. All HBO series stream on Max, but Max series do not air live on HBO. Both are owned by Warner Brothers Discovery, which plans to rebrand Max back to HBO. Why not just leave it Max and then have HBO?
Well, they were stupid to change it to just Max. Because like the history of this is, and it's funny if you see the picture that goes along with it. That's why. If you scroll down a little, yeah. that's the joke there. But yeah, no, I mean originally they had HBO Go and HBO Now, which were technically two separate entities. Then they introduced HBO Max. Eventually they conglomerated HBO Go and Now underneath all into one encompassing thing called Max with HBO Max. So that was just called Max for the longest time. And all of us said it's the dumbest move ever. In fact, they shared a video collage of several celebrities saying how stupid it was. That was one of the links I think I shared you in the background, or maybe it wasn't. But
hold on, I have it here.
Yeah, I got it here. If not,
oh man, okay. I got one last one for you, George.
This is too funny.
This is crazy. But
this is called debrand, rebrand, de-rebrand, or re-debrand.
Yeah. We'll share the one you had, Tom.
Yeah, no.
Or you
just let him share his first, and then I'll do this one.
Yeah. Hopefully it comes up. It's not letting me share it. Hold on. This is weird.
Okay, well, while you're waiting,
yeah, share yours, Tom.
Is it HBO Max or just Max? I think it's just straight Max.
HBO Max is out, is it?
It's gone.
Why would you remove the biggest part of the branding?
What a better name.
And everybody get HBO Max. No, I'm sorry.
HBO Max.
And get HBO.
And get Max. It's Max.
And get Max.
It's just Max.
It's called Max. It's a guy called Max.
My brother.
It's a guy called Max, my brother.
Tongue, doesn't it?
Just what we needed, another network.
I can't get used to it.
I just want everybody to know I'm changing everything that says Max to HBO Max.
Is it HBO Max or just
Wow.
So there you go. Yeah. So they're even having fun with it. So I love this. This is one of the best re-debrands I've ever seen in my life.
But it's done well.
This is the best one since the Brewers went back to the original logo. Right? I don't know if you guys remember when they took away the M and the B glove logo for the Brewers, and they just had it be an M with fucking stalks of wheat and hops and barley or whatever underneath it. I'm like, that is the dumbest rebrand in history. The Milwaukee Brewers logo was the best logo in baseball, the best one, and they changed it. Now they finally went back to it. So since that's happened, this is the best since then. Oh, and then we lost George.
Oh, that's funny. Jesus.
He'll be back. He probably hit the wrong X.
Yeah, no, I think they're doing a great job with this. I mean, this is how you do it, man. I mean, they realized they messed up. Because why would you not go with the HBO brand?
No, it completely makes sense. Everybody knows what it is, what it means, what it stands for, what.
Unbelievable.
You know.
I hit the wrong.
We figured. We covered.
Thank you. What was the one you had, Verbal?
You know what? For some reason, it's not letting me send it to you. It's blocking it. So we try. We try.
DM it to me, maybe, and then maybe I can try and open it.
Oh wait, there it is. There it is.
Okay. There we go. Oh, is this the card?
Yeah, the Uno reverse.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first one he showed, I think. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't paying attention, but yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the ones. Yeah, they got.
But no, I just think they're going about this the right way.
Yeah, they're having fun with it. They're having fun with it as they should.
Then they got one. This is not Lord of the Rings. Which one is this one? This is Game of Thrones, I think, isn't it?
No one cared about Cinemax before. Like I was kind of weird, surprised that they went with
Game of Thrones.
Checking our mentions. Is it Game of Thrones? That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Battle of the Bastards.
I knew it wasn't Lord of the Rings. Yeah, but I couldn't tell. I didn't think it was The Hobbit. So I've only seen those ones.
And
the thing is, Verbal, and what I thought was stupid about just hanging on to the Max part of it was when we think of Cinemax, which is the sister channel of HBO, we think of Skinemax. Exactly what George said. Our generation grew up on Skinemax because everybody, and I lived in a community where our cable company was too cheap to pay for HBO, but we did have the option to get Cinemax. So we had Cinemax growing up. And I got to experience Friday night Skinemax. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's all. And that's all it was good for was Skinemax.
Yeah, and the B movies. They had because they wouldn't take like the big movie, the B movies. Like HBO would only take the big movies, so then they'd leave all the premieres for like the smaller B level movies for Max. Yeah, so they'd start Friday nights with the 7 o'clock premiere, which was generally a pretty well known movie, you know, and then it just wasn't a big blockbuster hit, and then they'd move into their Skinamax night.
Right, but if you want to watch a movie like Student Bodies, you have to like watch Cinemax.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, they had that kind of stuff, or Bikini Car Wash, or whatever.
Car Wash, God,
those were the days. Those were the days,
dude. Those were good times, man.
Hell yeah. Well, these are the last two things we're going to cover real quick. I wanted to bring it up.
Oh, and Emmanuel. Never forget all the Emmanuel.
Oh,
they even had the
Jesus
Emmanuel
Christ.
series. Yeah.
It is, 'cause this irritates the hell out of me. We're jumping from movies into, because everything today gets impacted by Hollywood. I mean, don't be surprised. I've talked about it before. What happens on the big screen, or it happens in your living room, eventually gets played by the media, and that's how you have universities rewrite history, schools try to indoctrinate your kids, and then a teenager who killed another one, is not supposed to graduate, is now fucking graduating. I know you've covered this global.
What does it mean by won't receive his honor? Like, what does that mean?
He doesn't get to walk for graduation. They're just going to give it to him.
Which I'm fine with that. But if he earned his diploma,
he was supposed to be expelled. They said the day after he killed him. He admitted to killing.
But did he?
That's the thing. They expelled him and then they reversed it.
Expelled or suspended? Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah, originally they expelled him.
Dude, for murder, you should get expelled.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't been convicted yet. I mean, look, my point is this: convicted murderers in fucking prison can get their GED and diploma and all that kind of stuff. That's my point. If he earned the credits and he earned the diploma, fine.
But shouldn't he be punished?
I don't know about that. I mean, his punishment is he doesn't get to go up on stage.
Yeah, he doesn't get to walk his stage, man.
He doesn't get to do and participate in any of the other stuff. Yeah.
But that other kid is in the box. He doesn't get to experience.
Totally understand where you're coming from, George. But again, like I said, this is where it's like, look,
okay,
if he earned the credits and he actually graduated, fine, give him his diploma.
But
I agree.
But here's the thing: he's graduating. He's getting his diploma, but he's walking straight into a trial.
Yeah,
right.
He doesn't get to walk onto the stage with.
It's not like he's going to college after this. He's walking straight into a trial.
I know, but a lot of people
where he's probably going to get found guilty, if we're being honest here.
A lot of people are worried that that justice will not be served because of the way they've done the bond, and
I'm not convinced he's going to get as harsh a sentence as what Verbal thinks either here necessarily. Because I'll be honest with you.
I look. The problem is that he's a minor, right? And I think that kind of poses a problem as far
which is
as
stupid because he's technically almost an adult, and when it comes to
17.
murder. Yeah, in most cases, when it comes to murder, when you're being charged with murder, you're being charged as an adult if you're over the age of like 14, 15. Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. But we also have to realize, too, that by being 17, he can't vote, right? He can't do all these other things that an adult can do. So he is technically still, even at 17, he's still a minor. Right. You know what I mean? So
that's the thing I think he should be tried as an adult, but I also think that what's going to happen, this is just this is what I see happening. I don't think it's right. I think what's going to happen is they'll probably end up getting him to take some lesser charge, like manslaughter or something like that, voluntary manslaughter or something or other. He'll get like a 20-year sentence. He'll sit like 5 to 10 years, and then that's about it. I because of how young he is. Dante is correct. Plus, add in all the other factors, right? Like that's the problem. But if the roles were reversed, the kid would be sitting for life.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And here's the thing: we can't even say manslaughter, right? Because the guy brought a knife.
I agree. It's flat out murder.
It's murder. I mean,
it may not have been premeditated, but it was definitely murder.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky trial because he's guilty. The problem is, what do you charge him for?
He confessed to it on top of it.
But what do you charge him for is the question.
Yeah,
right?
And he's using the self-defense, right? Like that's the problem. And that works only so far. It depends on how the jury and they argue it. It's going to be a real dicey trial, I think, at the end of the day. And it's going to fall down to him probably taking some sort of plea deal with I would not be surprised if basically it comes down to something close to what I said. He takes some voluntary manslaughter plea deal and gets off pretty light.
Well, you want to hear about something even crazier. This happened in Colorado over the summer. A daughter was killed. And now you have a Soros-backed Arapahoe County, Colorado prosecutor gave probation and community service to an unlicensed, uninsured illegal alien who killed a young woman in a car crash last July. Caitlin Weaver was only 24 years old when a 15-year-old illegal alien driving 90 miles per hour in a 45 crashed into her vehicle and virtually killed her. Now, she was supposed to get the alien was supposed to get no plea deals. but a new prosecutor was swapped in, and yesterday was like, nope, you get 18 months probation. Go home. You're done.
That's some bullshit right there.
Yep. That's why it's important when you don't enforce the laws, you don't have a country. It's the same way we have had. I know you've probably been watching this, or if you're not, or if you haven't heard about it, President Trump let in about 59 refugees so far and more coming from South Africa, where in South Africa, not many people realize, where recently the Constitution, they had an amendment where they have, and new articles where they now have race quotas for their business. 90% have to be non-white for every business, or the business gets fined and punished.
Are you serious?
Yeah. 90%. So, and this is on top of taking farms away, torture, murder, rape, you name it. You're talking about families that have had families there, their names been there for 10 generations. So yesterday, they arrived. The first batch had arrived of the refugees, 59 refugees. And I was like, what is the thing that you notice about these refugees different than everybody else who's come to this country under Biden? You see something different? Perhaps anybody notice it?
They look like normal people.
They're all carrying American flags, not bringing their own
And families, and not like gang members and shit.
Yeah, it's almost like they're grateful to be in this country.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
They love to come here. Now look at this. This is President Ramaphosa, and this is what he stated. He has called them cowards.
When you run away, you're a coward. And that's a real cowardly act. When you run away, you're a coward.
Now, he goes on, and what he explains is, let me pull this up. He's saying that there's nothing, that everything that these refugees are saying, everything, the information that President Trump's been given is hearsay, conspiracy, bullshit. No one's taking farms. No one's doing this. No one's hurting. No one's butchering anybody. Right? Here we go.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't realize how bad it is over there. Except this was the song that was played at the at one of the presidential campaign stops.
Konto Alliance. Shoot to kill Yamasa. Kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor.
Kill the board, the South Africans, right? This is what they were using at campaign stops.
Wow.
So you go up here, right, and he asks him, come on, play. Oh, don't do this. I hate when it does that. I have to now jump into another window. It's crazy. It hasn't been getting any media attention except for one for CNN, and I'll play that in a second, and then we'll wrap up. Because I want to bring attention to this because people are suffering and no one's talking about it. Come on.
As we speak,
Damn it.
49 white African refugees are on their way to the United States. They will be received by the government of President Trump. What is your reaction to this?
Well, we've raised our own concern because those people who are being enticed to go to the United States do not fit the definition of a refugee. A refugee is someone who has to leave their country out of fear of political persecution, religious persecution, or economic persecution. And
that's what the United States says they're undergoing in South Africa. That's why they've opened the door for them.
Yes, and they don't fit that bill. They don't fit that description. And I had a conversation with President Trump on the phone, and he said, what's happening down there? And I said, President, what you've been told by those people who are opposed to transformation back home in South Africa is not true. And I added to him, I said, we were well taught by Nelson Mandela and other iconic leaders like Oliver Tambo on how to continue to build a united nation out of the diverse groupings that we have in South Africa. We're the only country on the continent where the colonizers came to stay, and we have never driven them out of our country. So they are staying, and they're making great progress. It's a fringe grouping that does not have a lot of support, that is anti-transformation and
Okay, did you hear that? That's the key word. Did you hear anti-transformation?
Yep.
They keep pushing, they call it, part of it is called the Rainbow Coalition. They say, you know, we bring all colors live in South Africa, everybody, except they're passing laws and pushing bills forward where they call the new transformation of South Africa. Well, transformation, part of the transformation plan is part of what they call is in the expropriation package, which means that the government can take any farm, any business without having to pay for it into what they view as past colonial crimes that people have to pay for today. Besides butchering and murdering.
That is crazy. If people allow that.
Yeah, that's why they're leaving, because they can't stop it.
Wow.
That's why they're leaving. The people don't want to leave their homes. So what they call transformation, it refers to South Africa's policy of wealth redistribution, but they're doing it by race. Instead of doing it by class, they're like, it's based on race. And here you had CNN, which I thought again was hilarious, to exposes them. Hold on. Because I wanted to get the whole picture of what's going on in South Africa. Here we go. It's funny, when I was listening to this interview, my first thought was, okay, the Klan didn't disappear. It just dropped the white hoods and got rebranded on CNN.
And part of that is that the people who are native to that land deserve their rightful land back. That is not what the Afrikaners actually want to have happen, which are the white Africans. And so who are
Afrikaners
originally from Africa who colonized.
They call them that, Afrikaners, because of their Dutch background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
South Africa also. And so that is what they are saying is discrimination. Now, if the Constitution in South Africa is discriminatory, they have their checks and balances in that land, just like we do. And that
Right. What she's not saying is the fact that the 10 attorneys who brought it up keep disappearing. Because the Constitution was rewritten. It's basically saying we want to make up for all the grievances of the original founders of South Africa. She goes on to say something I think we used to hear in the 50s and 60s.
That is for them to. So if the Afrikaners don't actually like the land, they can leave that country.
They are. They're leaving to come here.
No, they can
These
leave
refugees
and go,
are coming here.
They can actually leave and go to where their native land is, which is probably Germany.
Are you against them coming here?
Where have you heard that before, Dante? Tom, you can go back home.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it's funny because she doesn't even realize she's using the language, right?
I know, that's what it's. She's like, go back home. I was like, wow. And here's
but wait, my question: does she feel like that about all immigration, or just the white folks that are leaving Africa?
See, that's what's funny. All they've been doing on CNN, MSNBC, a little bit of ABC is they've been saying this is not correct immigration. This is wrong. These aren't real refugees. They're making these stories up. I'm like, everybody else can come in. But
right.
You want illegals? You want criminals? Yeah, no. And then here's the last clip. This TikTok activist kind of released this yesterday and put it, I think, as bluntly as you possibly can.
Good morning. This is for the South Africans who are going to be entering the United States. This is just a public service announcement. I just wanted to make you aware that the Black people who were students during apartheid, we're grandmas and grandpas now. And we have the air of Gen Z. One more thing, I also want to let you know that our president, he has Secret Service, and you will not. I also want to tell you that Black people over here are empowered. I just want to, these are just public service announcements. When you get here, sit your ass down and don't touch nothing, because you don't have Secret Service. Okay. Now have the day you deserve.
Yeah, she's talking out of her ass.
I know. It's just
everybody's tough on social media, right?
right.
Everybody's a badass on social media.
Keyboard warriors. I know, but you don't find it odd, Dante, Tom, that all we've heard for the last few weeks, basically since Trump took office again, is, we're the land of immigrants from the left. We're the land that everybody can come in. America, otherwise you're racist.
No, they mean anybody but white can come over.
It's
right.
It's odd. It's odd.
I'm sorry. And
criminals.
And
nope.
I would say darker skinned Asians.
Right. It's just odd how
but only darker skinned Asians, not the ones from like Korea and China and all that,
But
they
she
want
actually,
like Filipino Asians is what's allowed, right? That kind of thing.
and she actually was threatening people, and TikTok was like left her. She's gone on to do more. She's like, you will not survive here. Like, these people have been run out. There is video after video you can find online. Anybody in the audience, y'all can go check it out. Anybody in the community, you can see, type up South Africa. There's documentaries about how gangs will roam, go to the farms. I mean, they have to barricade themselves in, Dante. Like when you walk into a home there, they have, what do you call it? Bars on the outside on the windows, right? But then they have bars on the doors, a metal door behind that. Wow. Going into the house. Then for every room, they have metal doors with bars because you don't know where you're going to be when someone rushes in, so they can lock themselves in. And people are going, well, my family's been here 150 years, 200 years, 250 or 75, and they don't want to leave. That's all they own. It's like it's their home. So when these people are getting up to come to the U.S., it's not like they're coming here they're coming to a strange place for them. It's not where they were born. It's not where they were raised. It's not where they make their money. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because I saw so many people that haven't talked about it, and it was just driving me crazy. And I think it needed a little bit of attention. But other than that, I think the funniest thing today has been what Warner Brothers did. Oh, and this. I'm sorry. This will be the last clip just for fun. Tom, have you seen this one? Where'd Tom go?
I'm here, but I don't know which one what you're referring to.
It'll
give me some context.
It'll pop up 1 second. This one, I had never heard of this before or seen. Did you see this video of Griner and the WNBA?
No, I haven't seen this.
It went viral because no one had heard the basketball player's voice before. This is supposed to be a female player.
Okay, explain. So you saved someone from.
We were off-roading, and this family flipped their side by side. They tried to stop it from flipping.
Why is she lip syncing?
And
is that her voice?
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's why it went viral.
Wow.
That
really?
ain't no woman.
That ain't no woman. Fuck all that. Come on now.
Came through on the guy, and then the girl broke her ankle, and bone came through. Me and my friends would jump off. We flipped it back, help him out. I take my shirt off.
Okay.
I call complete and utter bullshit on anybody who tries to claim that that's a woman.
I just wanted to make sure because everybody else.
I'll bet everything I own that person has a cock, dude. There's no way, man. There's no way.
And there are pictures on X of this player out at pools, no shirt on, flat. No scars, nothing, just.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way, man. Like, dude, I guarantee you her dick is bigger than all of ours.
except they list her as a
the
her.
dick. Her Adam's apple's bigger than mine.
That's crazy.
All right. This has been a great show. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Dante, what do you have coming up next?
Yeah, I just dropped my video today on the Ironheart trailer. I'm going to be doing a fully in-depth review of Andor season 2. And I got my show tomorrow, VRL tomorrow 6 p.m. Guys, be sure to tune in, watch it. Special guest will be Aaron Sparrow. We're just going to be talking about the crazy shit of the week, like I normally do. So.
Well, I got to join you one of these. I would want to join you one of these days. I love that. That's awesome.
Absolutely, man. We 6 o'clock. In fact, shit, you might as well join us tomorrow then, man. I mean, it's just going to be me and him spitballing. So,
you know what we got to do? We got to cover, just for shits and giggles, even a 10-minute video. We got to cover Ironheart. That's going to be meme fun. That's Come on.
Oh, dude, I am going to eat off Ironheart like for weeks, dude. Like I am going to have zero shame. I'm going to watch that show every week, unless they drop it all at once.
You think they will, like they did Echo?
If they're smart.
Yeah.
If
Wait a
they're
minute.
smart.
Isn't Wonder Man coming right after that?
Well, that's not till December.
No, I thought it would. Oh, okay.
I think it's later, and it's later because the next one is Fantastic Four in July.
Let's hope that they've taken. And I forgot one more. Just a picture. Tom, what do you have coming up while I find this picture that you want to share with everybody?
I got physical media show later on tonight on Fanzine, and then the morning show Friday, Midnight's Edge After Dark tomorrow night, wherever I fall in.
Cool. This was a picture I wanted to show you. Downey released it, that he's getting ready for his Doom role.
Is he really buff, or is that just...
I don't know. I was going to ask you. That's what I was going to ask you guys.
That looks like padding.
Is it? I can't
It's
tell.
weird that he's reading Jeremy Renner's book.
Are these the CG dots on his head?
I think so.
I can't tell if that... Yeah, that's padding. It's got it. What do you think?
Padding. His chest is padded, too.
Mm-hmm. I'm just curious how it's going to do. All right, everybody. This
I
is
think
a great
miss. I think it's going to be a miss.
You think so?
We'll see.
Do you know that they talked about bringing Ian Grufford in to play also Reed Richards into Doomsday?
That they did what?
Ian Grufford. You remember when he played Reed Richards in the original Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
There was an article stating that supposedly he was asked, or he's being asked to join in on Doomsday. They're bring in the original team with Jessica Alba, him, and but not Ben Grimm, not the one who played Ben Grimm, but just him and Sue. It was interesting. He said if he's asked, he'll join. He says he hasn't heard anything yet. All right, everybody. Thank you for being back. We will be back here next Wednesday. We'll also be back here this Sunday, Slayer Nation Live. Until then, I love you. Have a blessed week. And remember, we're fighters with one unbreakable rule. We never bow down. We never bend the knee. Always forward.